table, velvet robe shadows, gold cufflinks catching slow halos, fedora low like he's hiding a story, single malt in a glass of old glory. He don't chase the light, spotlight finds him. Room leans in when the edge is dim. Old school pulse in a blue lit dim. He don't chase the light, spotlight finds him. He nods once, band feels the weather. One eyebrow sets the groove together. No hurry, just a half smile spin. Whole decade in the way he grins. He don't chase the light, spotlight finds him. Room leans in when the edge is dim. Old school pulse in a blue lit dim. He don't chase the light, spotlight finds him. Oh yeah. Everybody talking, he just listens in the fringe. World keeps rushing forward, he's living on the hinge. Crystal clink, low laugh, time slows on a whim. Future at the door, but the door opens for him. He don't chase the light, spotlight finds him. Room leans in when the edge is dim. Old school pulse in a blue lit dim. He don't chase the light, spotlight finds him. He don't chase the light, spotlight finds him.
He pours you wine, tells a joke that lands just right, holds the door, says your name like it's a light. Tie is straight, every gesture, every line, but the quiet in his gaze doesn't match the practice shine. You catch the flint when someone drops a glass. You see a storm when the room just laughs. He's a porcelain gentleman, unchipped, uncracked, on the shelf to admire, but the glaze hides fingerprints, burnt edges, old fire. There's a soldier standing guard in his grin, and a child in the shadow of his skin. He's a porcelain gentleman, but the story's written on the back of his eye. He knows your drink, knows the exits in the room, counts the steps from the corner to the door, smiles on cue, plays the part they all assume, holds the world like it's something he must absorb. He says I'm fine and he changes the day, but his shoulders tell it the other way. He's a porcelain gentleman, unchipped, uncracked, on the shelf to admire, but the glaze hides fingerprints, burnt edges, old fire. There's a soldier standing guard in his grin, and a child in the shadow of his skin. He's a porcelain gentleman, but the stories are written on the back of his eye. Once he was small, running through summers that ended too soon, packing his dreams in a box marked later in the corner of his room. He learned early how to stand when he still shook, how to answer every question with a practiced look. He's a porcelain gentleman, unchipped, uncracked, on the shelf to admire, but the glaze hides fingerprints, burnt edges, old fire. There's a soldier standing guard in his grin, and a child in the shadow of his skin. He's a porcelain gentleman. If you really listen, you can hear him cry from the back of his eyes.
Sky cracked like cheap glass, news said that's all. Folk sirens cried themselves out, street lights choked on smoke. I kicked through burned out letters, last week's unpaid bills. Pulled my coat a little tighter, felt the world stand still. Just loosen my tie, strike a spark, real man standing in the rubble, let a red eye glow in the dark. If chaos comes calling, I tell it pull up a chair, you're late anyway. And the days out here on Main Street, just another Tuesday. Just another windows full of old mannequins, still dressed for the spring. Ash on their painted lips, like they tried to sing. Car alarms clicked to silence, dogs laid down their bark. I cupped that little flame like a prayer in the dark. When the world blues, I just loosen my tie. Strike a spark, real man standing in the rubble. Let a red eye glow in the dark. If chaos comes calling, tell it pull up a chair, you're late anyway. And the days out here on Main Street, just another Tuesday. Oh yeah.
You brought flowers to my job every Monday, rain or shine. You were waiting at my door long before I checked the time. You kept calling just to ask if I really made it home. You kept loving like a flood till I started feeling alone. You're the one that got away, but not for lack of trying. Oh no, you built a house around my heart till I could hear the hinges crying. Some doors closed to protect you, some hearts locked to keep you safe. And the blues plays on for the one that tried too hard and the one that walked away. You pulled every empty chair so I'd never walk too near the edge. Wrote my name on every plan like a promise, like a pledge. But I need space to lose my step, to get it wrong, to find my feet. You were saving me from storms I still needed just to meet. You're the one that got away, but not for lack of trying. You turned every maybe into yes till my quiet started dying. Some doors close to protect you, even when they break your faith. And the blues plays on for the one that tried too hard and the one that walked away. Now I talk about you softly like a lesson, not a blame. How a tender, steady kindness can still burn just the same. I toast your stubborn heartbeat when I hear that old band play. Some love stays by leaving, some grace is walking away. You're the one that got away, but I see you in the mirror. Not a villain, not a saint, just a lover getting clearer. Some doors close to protect you, teach a gentleman to wait. And the blues plays on for the one that tried too hard and the one that walked away. iron sting. He's a gentleman's regular, polished and plain. Ice in his glass, folds in his veins. Name on the tab, nothing else to claim. The bartender knows his name, but not his story. Blue tie, loosened by an inch, no further cufflinks. Catch the yellow barroom glow. He taps one finger on the coaster's corner, as if there's somewhere else to go. He's a gentleman's regular, polished and plain. Ice in his glass, folds in his veins. Name on the tab, nothing else to claim. The bartender knows his name, but not his story. Armor in the angle of his shoulder, armor in the quiet naked too. Every Saturday he comes back older, but the ritual keeps his ghosts in view. He's a gentleman's regular, polished and plain. Ice in his glass, folds in his veins. Name on the tab, nothing else to claim. The bartender knows his name, but not his story. Enough is enough, I was sipping my tea. Now the cups in the dust kept my head down. Hands clean, back straight. They mistook that's the water for a weak faith. A gentleman, yeah, pressed shirt on collar, quiet stare. But you danced on the edge of my last nerve. Laughed while you took more than you deserved. You kept pushing inch by inch, pulled on every thread till the seams went split. Thought I'd fall, thought I'd plead. Now you get the part of me I never let breathe. The gentleman takes off his glove, say a little prayer to whoever you love. You wanted the edge, now you're over the side. No mercy left for the ones who crossed the line. I was calm, now I'm thunderborn, soft-spoken man turned walking storm. You wrote this war in your own head, not mine. No mercy left for the ones who crossed the line. You smiled in my face, then you twisted the blade, dragged my name through the mud just to watch it fade. I warned you once, twice that's grace, third time that halo slips off my face. Now every debt tallied, every slight scar, I remember every smirk that I let ignore. You woke the wolf in the suit and tie, heartbeat steady as I watch your alibis die. You kept laughing, thought I'd break, fed on my silence like it's yours to take. You drew blood, now I see red, every quiet thought screaming in my head. The gentleman takes off his gloves, say a little prayer to whoever you love. You wanted the verdict. Every step measured, every word wordless. You taught me what justice tastes like. Wrong! Now you get to meet the teeth behind the jaw. The gentleman takes off his gloves. Say a little prayer to whoever you love. You wanted the edge, now you're over the side. No mercy left for the ones who crossed the line. I was calm, now I'm thunderborn. Soft-spoken man turned walking storm. You wrote this war in your own head, not mine. No mercy left for the ones who crossed the line.
Corner booth, back to the wall. Coffee gone cold, rain on the awning. He counts the lies in a single glance. Sees the wedding ring on a wandering hand. He reads the tremor in a light of flame. The way the bartender forgets a name. Every nervous laugh, every borrowed touch, he files it away, never says too much. He sees everything, but he says nothing. Let the city talk till the truth comes through. Every tired face is a quiet confession. He just nods once, that's what gentlemen do. Yeah, he hears the blues, so you don't have to. Lipstick smudge on a crumpled note, stale perfume on a wrinkled coat. Taxi brakes hiss like a warning sign. He knows who's cheating and who's out of time. He tracks the shadows sliding down the glass. The kid at the counter, short on cash. The cop in the corner staring at his shoes. Everybody bleeding in a different hue. He sees everything, but he says nothing. Let the city talk till the truth comes through. Every tired face is a quiet confession. He just nods once, that's what gentlemen do. Yeah, he hears the blues, so you don't have to. He's got last names tucked in his wallet, dates and places scribbled in his mind. If you really listen when the night gets silent, you'd hear his heart humming low in time. He sees everything, but he says nothing. Let the city talk till the truth comes through. Every tired face is a quiet confession. He just nods once, that's what gentlemen do. Gentleman detective with the blues in his blood. Yeah, he hears it all, and he
and drowns it in the mud.
He never raised his voice, but the kids all heard him clear. At the table, passing plates, passing wisdom, passing years. Quiet laugh in the doorway, coat hung on the same old hook. You learn patience from his silence, from the way he'd only look. He never raised his voice, but he raised a whole family. Held the roof with steady hands and a heart that never shook. He never raised his fist, but he raised a bar for all of us. That's what a gentleman does. That's what a gentleman does. Oh yeah. He was early to the hard days, always last to take his share. Kept the car running in winter, so you'd step into warm air. Paid his pride in installments, so your dreams could stay in bloom. Took the blame in crowded moments, so your name had breathing room. He never raised his voice, but he raised a whole family. Held the roof with steady hands and a heart that never shook. He never raised his fist, but he raised a bar for all of us. That's what a gentleman does. That's what a gentleman does.
Collar-led shop, lazy stay loose. He nods at the bodega man, never has to introduce. Knows which door sticks, which cop looks twice, which kid's gonna run his mouth and step back think twice. He reads the alleys like lines in his palm, every worn brick spelling out songs. He's a gentleman with an edge, walking that invisible ledge. Got a please on his tongue, got a don't test me stare. City in his pocket, yeah, he moves like air. He's a gentleman with an edge, tips his hat, pays his debts. Every crack in the pavement signed in sweat, not blood. Street talk grace in the neighborhood. He knows her name at the corner stand, slips an extra bill
the jar by hand, shakes old hands with the quiet of respect, but he clocks every angle, every subtle defect. He'll walk you home, then spot the tail. One look, one step, they decide to bail. He's a gentleman with an edge, walking that invisible edge. Got a please on his tongue, got a don't test me stare. City in his pocket, game moves like air. He's a gentleman with an edge, tips his hat, pays his debts. Every crack in the pavement, signed in sweat, not blood. Street taught grace in the hood wood. He's a gentleman with an edge, walking that invisible edge. Got a please on his tongue, got a don't test me stare. City in his pocket, yeah, he moves like air. He's a gentleman with an edge, tips his hat, pays his debts. Every crack in the pavement, signed in sweat, not blood. Street taught grace in the neighborhood.
Early, same old coffee cup, same chipped rim, same corner of the rug. Every scar he carried underneath his shirt was a country no one ever had to learn. He won the war, nobody saw, no flags raised, no roaring crowd, just him, his shadow on the wall. In the quiet that finally got loud, he never bent, he never broke, no headline, no shining cross, just a single steady breath of smoke saying, that's enough. That's enough. They ask you good while scrolling on their phones. He smiles small, says yeah, I'm holding on. They don't see the nights he pinned his hands down tight, talking to the ceiling, choosing to stay alive. He won the war, nobody saw, no brass band, no speech out front, just dishes in the sink at dawn, and a heartbeat trying not to jump. He never bent, he never broke, walked barefoot through his private frost. Now every quiet step back home whispers, that's enough. That's enough. No confetti on the kitchen floor, just the echo of a slam door closing. He stands alone in the afterstorm, finds himself in the slow unfolding. Oh, he won the war, nobody saw, no parade down any street, but the mirror holds a softer jaw, and a man who stayed on his feet. He never bent, he never broke, no ribbon, no marble cross, just him and his shadow, sharing smoke, saying, that's enough. bench when quiet wood doors sighed, coats, cufflinks, all that pride filed out slow, eyes turned away, left him there to face the day. Dust in the light, gold on the seal. He straightened his tie, told himself what was real. He's a gentleman in the dark, hat in his hand, hard like a rock. Owes what he owes, says what he means. Justice is blind, but he's seen everything. A gentleman pays his debts in silence. Names on paper, cold black ink, deals and favors made him sink. He took the weight like tailored cloth, never begged, never scoffed. Truth in the file, lies on the stand. He swallowed his pride, did not raise his hand. He's a gentleman in the dark, head in his hand, hard like a rock. Owes what he owes, says what he means. Justice is blind, but he's seen everything. A gentleman pays his debts in silence. No last speech, no raised voice. He already made his only choice. Let the gavel fall, let the ledger close. The debt is his and his alone, yeah. He's a gentleman in the dark, head in his hand, hard like a rock. Owes what he owes, says what he means. Justice is blind, but he's seen everything. A gentleman pays his debts in silence. Born in the mud, raised in the dark, cold hands, cracked knuckles, breath like a spark. Sleeping in stairwells, raining is cold, counting each heartbeat like somebody's oath. They thought he was nothing, less than a threat. He carved out a promise he wouldn't forget. They whisper his name in the alleys, soft as a blade at your neck. You owe and you pray he's forgotten. He's the ghost that pays its debts. Brick after brick he was climbing, blood on the ink that he kept. You don't see his face in the daylight, but the ghost still pays its debt. Meetings in basements, smoke in the air, leaders with gold on their fingers, shifting in chairs. He never shouts orders, he barely speaks, just signs with a knuckle, taps once for the week. From scraps on the table to keys to the fence, he traded his mercy
for quiet respect. They whisper his name in the alley, low like a curse you regret. You run but you circle back to him, 'cause the ghost will claim what's left. Brick after brick he was climbing on favors he never forgets. Hide in your house with the curtains drawn, still the ghost will pay his debts. He remembers cold nights, empty pockets, tight jaw. Every slide is a mark in his law. Hey, so when the door shakes at 3 a.m., you already know it's just him. They whisper his name in the alleys, soft as the first taste of sweat. You gamble your soul on tomorrow, he's collecting every bet. Brick after brick he was climbing, now his shadow owns the steps. You can buy your way out of anything till the ghost comes pay his debts.
They stabbed him in the back, he pulled the blade out slow, rinsed it in a paper cup, watch his own blood flow. Bathroom light flicker, tie thrown over the sink, whiskey burned on the counter, still stare, don't blink. Thread through the skin, shaking but steady, talking to the mirror, you were always ready. A gentleman bleeds in private, wins in public, calm and quiet, walks back in like nothing's changed. Heart still heavy, suit still straight, they never see the scars he hides, they only see the sharpened smile. A gentleman bleeds in private and wins in public every time. White shirt and roses blooming under his vest, jacket back on shoulders, paint pressed close to his chest. Walks back to the table, pulled out his own chair, shook hands with the Judas like he didn't care. Oh yeah, salt in the wound, salt on the rim, slow little toast, eyes locked on him. A gentleman bleeds in private, wins in public, calm and quiet, walks back in like nothing's changed. Heart still heavy, suit still straight, they never see the scars he hides, they only see the sharpened smile. A gentleman bleeds in private and wins in public every time.
boots in the wet grass, name carved in cold stone. Wind pushing my coat back like it wants me to go home. He never was one for talking, awkward with anything sweet, but he was up on the ladder at midnight every time the roof would leak. The old man never said I love you, but his hand said it every day. They were building, fixing, blocking the doorway, keeping every storm at bay. Now I'm standing here with empty pockets full of things he never gave in words. A gentleman's love is action, not sentences. It's in the things you do, not the things you heard. He taught me how to hold a wrench, how to keep my temper cool, sitting silent on the tailgate of that rusted out old blue. He patched my first broken heartbreak with a nod and one slow shrug. Drove me there, waited in the truck lights till I climbed back in for a hug. Yeah. The old man never said I love you, but his hand said it every day. They were building, fixing, blocking the doorway, keeping every storm at bay. Now I'm standing here with empty pockets full of things he never gave in words. A gentleman's love is action, not sentences. It's in the things you do, not the things you heard. I look down at my own fingers, scar on the knuckle, dirt in the lines. I hold my boy's shaking shoulders, and I feel his touch in mine. The old man never said I love you, but his hand said it every day. So I'm building, fixing, quietly guarding in my own clumsy way. I might stumble when I try to say it, so I'll let these open arms be heard. A gentleman's love is action, not promises. I'll show my children every single word. Left his old light in the rearview mirror, box of bad habits in the backseat rattle. New town welcome sign fades in the night, same scarred knuckles on the wheel too tight. You can change the scenery, but the blues ride shotgun. Name on the mailbox don't mean that you're done. He's starting over with calloused hands and a clean conscience. But every mile he drives, the rear view blues still got a promise Tiny apartment, smells like paint and coffee. Second-hand sofa, springs dig his spine. Clock on the counter ticks like old mistakes, but the quiet here don't call his name like back then. You can change the scenery, but the blues ride shotgun. Name on the mailbox don't mean that you're done. He's starting over with calloused hands and a clean conscience. But every mile he drives, the rear view blues still got a promise. He ain't running, he already ran. Now he's just standing where the running ran out of land. He folds his regrets like a work shirt worn thin, hangs them in the closet and breathes in. You can change the scenery, but the blues ride shotgun. Name on the mailbox don't mean that you're done. He's starting over with calloused hands and a clean conscience. Yeah, the road keeps rolling and he keeps driving with the rear view blues, riding silent. Riding silent.
And 3 in the morning, name on his tongue like a vow. Ice in the glass, all melted now. Street smear of color through the rim as it tilts. Tie still perfect, but his heart's been spilled. A gentleman in love is the most dangerous thing alive. Polished shoes, shaking hands, but his eyes say he won't survive. He'll burn through his heaven just to stand once by her side. A gentleman in love is the most dangerous thing alive. Bill on the table, he's read it 10 times. Phone on the counter, too scared to chime. Laughs at his shadow, reflected in chrome. How can a man look so lost in his own home? A gentleman in love is the most dangerous thing alive. Silver watch, steady tick, but his pulse runs like a knife. He'll tear up his habits, leave his good name in the fire. A gentleman in love is the most dangerous thing alive. He was raised to never raise his voice. Keep it calm, keep it clean, keep it kind. But love walks in with a wild, wild choice. Now he's praying just to lose his mind. Oh, a gentleman in love is the most dangerous thing alive. Perfect part, crooked smile on the edge of one last try. He'll trade every promise for one more look in her eyes. A gentleman in love is the most dangerous